Joes, welcome back to Journeys in Time and welcome if you are new. So I think we all know what today is. Today is the beginning of the absolutely huge A to Z Christmas challenge. Hooray, hurrah. And I am doing the letter A for you guys. Look at this kit, guys. I printed off all the pages and look at the stack that I have. It is absolutely huge. Oh my lord. So yeah, I've printed off all the pages, ready to go, ready to craft with everyone throughout the month of November. It's going to be so much fun. Okay, I hope you will all have watched Rachel's launch video yesterday. Now I'm pre-recording this, so I don't actually know what Rachel has or has not told you in the launch video. I'm sure she will have given you all the details, so I'm not going to go over everything again. I do want to remind you guys though that the kit is 50% off in our shops at the moment. There's half of the kit in my shop, half of the kit in Rachel's shop. 72 pages, absolutely huge kit. And yeah, it's 50% off. So if you do want to get the kit and join in and craft along with all of us, then now would be the time to do that, okay? So that is that there. And let's get on to our make, because that's why you guys are here, isn't it? Now, I am working with the letter A. And if you'll recall, in my kit, I designed the pages for the letter A. So we have an advent calendar, okay? Now I have cut out my pieces ready to go here. This is my backing page. I have my two panels here. They're just cut out, nothing else done to them. And I have cut out my numbers. Now when I was cutting out my numbers, I cut them so that there was a little piece left to the side, and I actually positioned these on the page knowing that I was possibly going to use them this way. So I left enough room around them to be able to leave a tab to the side, okay? So when you're cutting your numbers, if you're doing it the same way that I'm doing it, and there are several ways to do it, to put this advent calendar together, and I will be showing you two ways today. But if you want to do it the way I'm doing it for the first one, then you need to leave a little tab to the side. And all I've done is I've mitered down those corners as well, just to neaten things up and make it not get stuck when I'm putting it into the slots and things like that. You'll see what I mean by that in a minute. So we have all our numbers there. I have them already inked and everything ready to go. I have my two panels cut out. Here we go. And what I want to do with this is I want to make slots in the panels to each side of the picture, we'll say, each picture. And I want to slot this little tab piece in, glue it to the back, and have it as a little door, okay? Now, you could do it this way, but because of the way the piece needs to fit on the page, there isn't a whole lot of room here. And I think it would look very messy if you were to just glue it on top. Now, you could do it that way. Don't let me tell you what to do by any means. If you want to do it that way, go ahead. But I'm just going to show you an alternative that I think will look prettier. Okay, so I'm going to take my little Christmassy mat and my little Christmas decorations away out of the way so that I can work on my workspace. And I'll be right back to you guys. Okay, so we have our clear workspace again. So the first thing I need to do is I need to figure out where I need to cut those slots. I want them all to be even and not all over the place. And I do need to ink the edges of my piece as well. Obviously, I prefer not to do this on camera, but being the woolly head that I am at the moment, yeah, I forgot to do that part. I have most of the inking done for you guys anyway, okay? So you can see in this one I have my little slots cut already. Can you see that? Yeah. And I'm going to show you how I got the markings for that on this panel, and we will get that cut as well. Okay, so the first thing we need to do, this is how I did it. I'm sure there are other ways to do it, but this is how I did it. We need a pokey tool or a needle or something sharp, and something to put behind our piece. And all I'm going to do here, I'm going to mark one corner of the picture. So you can see the pictures have little faded squares around them. So I'm just marking the corner of that with my pokey tool. So it's coming through here. Okay. And I'm going to do that all the ways across. So the top corner here again, and on the third row of images as well. Okay, I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to get my pen and my ruler, and I'm just going to draw a line straight from top to bottom, making sure that it is a straight line. Okay, I could probably use my T for that, just to be sure. So I have a T ruler, which is very useful for things like this when you particularly need a straight line. And with this one, I would much prefer that it was straight as possible. Okay. Okay, so that is our first line. And we're going to take our second needle hole and our third needle hole, and we're going to do the very same thing. Okay, so that's our first set of marks. Now, when you're making those marks, make sure you're doing them to whichever side of the image you want your little door to flip. Now, actually, I should have said this while I was talking about the tabs. You can leave the tab to the top or to the other side, or even to the bottom if you want as well. And you would just mark this accordingly. So you could have it flip up, you could have them flip down, you could have them flip across, you could have them actually all flip different ways if you want to do that. But being the woolly head that I am at the moment, I'm keeping this one pretty simple. Okay. Okay, so the next set of holes that we need to make there, the next set of little markings, we need to know where to slice to. Okay, so we have our first holes. That'll give us our first line. And we're going to get our second one, using my square again to make sure I have a straight line down. And I'm just going to put a mark at each corner of each of those squares all the ways down. Now, the squares aren't perfectly square squares, so just go with the straight line. Don't try to make them all exactly on the corner, because they're not, like I said, straight lines. Okay, that is our marks made for our biro marks. So we need to bring lines across then to know exactly where the tops and the bottoms. So what we're trying to do, we're trying to mark from this distance from here to here on every one of the squares. Okay, and this is just a way to do it. It's just a grid basically. So let us get a line across here, and it only needs to cross the 3 lines that you've made. And next one down is the bottom of that first square, and we're bringing that across those 3 lines. And then we have the top of the next row, and I can see my little holes that I have made for myself, so this is all very easy. Okay. Okay, so the next thing we need to do, we need to take our craft knife, and on each of these lines, from hole to hole, so where we made those holes, so from the very top one to the next one down, we need to make a slice, and we need to take out a teeny tiny amount out of that. So I'm going very, very, very slightly to one side of that line for my first cuts, and I do mean very tiny. Okay, it only needs to be the width of the weight of your paper, like so. Okay, and so I'm going to cut it there, but I'm also going to scooch it over and cut it on the line as well. I don't want it any further that way. So if you look at your images, you will be able to tell where you need to put your lines. Okay, so that you're putting it on the line and outside of the image. I hope that is clear for you guys. Okay, so I'm going to do all 4 rows at once. So I'm going in between those 2 lines, or these 2 lines here. I'm going from line to line. I'm not going above, I'm not going below. And I'm doing it on the next row down between these 2 lines. So there's this little gap where there's no split here, okay? Like that, and I'm going to bring my ruler over just a scooch onto that line and slice those as well. Now when you get to that point, all you need to do is push the point of your knife at the top and bottom of each of those little slots that you've just cut and pop it out. Okay, they're so small they'll just pop out anyway. So do that for all 4. And there we have our little slots for our numbers. Now our numbers are going, this isn't the right number for this spot. Our numbers are going to be able to slot in here, get glued to the back, and they will cover our images, just like that. Okay? So I'm going to go off and I'm going to get these lines cut as well. So we have this one, this one, this one, this one, and we're moving across. We'll do this, 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 and this, and this, and this. Always remembering cut on the line and slightly out from the line, away from the direction of the image. So if you have it this way, it will always be to this side of the line. Alright, so I'm going to go and get those done. I'll be right back to you guys. Okay, so that's the slots cut in both of our panels. We're ready to go. We're ready to start putting numbers in. Now I'm deciding that I want my snowman to be the first one up. So I'm going to slot my little tab into my slot that we just made and see how it fits just so nicely on it. And I'm going to just glue my tab into place and it'll be able to open and close. So that's awesome. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? And that way, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think it actually works out the same, 7, yeah. I didn't think about this when I was putting this together, but doing it the way I did it, it's going to be green and red stripes, which is kind of cool, I guess. So let's get started putting those on. So I'm just going to grab some glue, get plenty of glue near the crease but not over the crease, and all the ways to the edge. And in fact this won't matter because these will get covered actually anyway. And I possibly should have put it into the slot before I did the glue. That actually would have made so much more sense. Oh my lord. Okay. Okay. Make sure it is sitting nicely before you close it down. And voila, like so. Now, I'm going to open that one up because I know there's glue in there. So let's do it the right way this time. Oh, and just as well guys, I printed a backing sheet onto my numbers, but I wasn't very happy with it, so I will be putting up another one for you guys as a freebie. I still have to make that, but I will be doing a backing sheet for your numbers for you, okay, just so you know. Okay, so let's get that in there, sitting nicely. Turn it over, I'm not letting that move. Get my glue on there and glue that into place, and I'm going to do the same with all of the numbers, making sure that I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? I'm going to speed through this for you guys, okay? I think you get the idea of what you need to do. You just need to make sure that they're sitting correctly before you glue them into place and you are good to go. Okay, so I have my numbers down. Aren't they looking cute? Now, number 12 is missing, as you'll see, and that is because I deliberately didn't fold the flap on number 12. I wanted to show you how I do that, just for any newbies out there. It can be tempting to just fold it back, and that can work, but when you're doing this many of them, you're better off to get a ruler or a straight edge. Pop it down. Now, I'm doing it with the flap under the ruler because I want to leave a teeny tiny bit of that white showing where I'm doing the fold, and I'm just going to press it down and pick up the other part, crease it against my ruler, and we have a nice fold. So I'm going to fold that back the other way. I'm going to just burnish that fold in with my ruler, and we can get this glued into place, and we are done with that part of the gluing. Okay, so there we have our two panels. Now, our little doors are popping up at the moment. You could put them under something heavy to get those to flatten down, which I will possibly do once I get the panel on the back. But another thing, there are several other ways that you could do this actually. If you had buttons small enough, You could put a little button to the side of each one and have it just slip under the button. You could cut out a tiny notch just past the edge of your little door and have it slip under. In fact, I'm actually going to do one like that just so that you can see. So I'm going to take my craft knife and I'm actually going to turn it the right way around to me. And I'm going to just gauge kind of maybe to that border on the number part, okay? So just to the number, I'm going to hover my knife there, pull back my door, and I'm going to press the point of my knife down into there, okay? So that's just giving me my mark. And then I'm going to do a little triangular notch. Just like so. Show you. Might be easier to see it from the back, see that? And I'm going to pop that up a little and my little door will slip under it. Yeah, it should slip under it. And that will help keep it closed, okay? Now I'm not going to do that because, and I'll tell you why, you'll have to avoid those little pieces when you're gluing the panel on the back. Make it a little bit awkward, and I just don't believe it's going to be necessary once the piece is in a journal. I think they'll flatten down quite nicely, okay? But there's an option for you if you want to do that. You can also use a little flat back gem, just glue the half of it the same way you would with a button. You could put magnets inside here, and if you did want to put magnets on them, now would be the time to do it, because you could put a magnet in here and a magnet to the back and have it snap shut with the magnets. My magnets they'd be quite large on these pieces, but if you have tiny magnets, that would work really nicely, and it would make it a really substantial and luxurious piece. Now, I know that I want to attach these to my page as flips. I want them to flip up, okay? So, and this would be the center of a signature. We'd have these two on here. They would both flip up to reveal the big 25. Okay? So, I mean, it will be obvious that there is something hidden underneath, so whoever gets the journal or yourself will know to flip these, okay? So the next thing I need to do is put on a hinge. And that is very easy to do. So I have a piece of scrap card. It came from a paper pad here, and it is just narrower than these panels, which is perfect. You don't want it too long. And I'm going to cut 2 1-inch strips off of this. And I'm actually going to score them now as well. I'm going to score them roughly halfways. And I want this side showing on this paper. Okay. So I want it to sit like so. So I need to get that burnished. And I want to snip the corners of this as well, just to give it a more finished look. I'm going to do the usual trick. I'm going to flip that like so and get it the same on the other side. So I'm going to get glue along this. You want the top edge of this to be glued relatively well. Bottom edge won't really matter, it will be covered. The piece that's being glued onto this. And we're doing the hinge piece now so that it can be covered, so that it won't be showing on the back of this piece. Make sure I have it the right way up. Not that it would be the end of the world, it would actually work as a flip down as well, which would be cool. It would work as a flip to the side. You could make it any kind of a flip you want. Okay, so that's that in place. When that gets stuck down to the page, it will flip up like so. Now, and we'll be making sure that we won't be covering our kings. So yeah, we'll make sure to position it accordingly. So Silent Night will still be showing, which is quite nice. Okay, so let's get the other one of those on. So that is our 2 hinges there. Now, we need to get these backed, and I am still between 2 minds as to what I want to back these with. Now, first of all, I am going to fold my actual page in half, and I have that backed with one of the lovely backing papers from the kit. And I'm folding it in half because I want to see how much scope I have to work with. can I layer these and things like that. Okay, so that's how it'll appear in the journal. This needs to be right up there at that silent night, and I would want the other one level with it. So I have a little bit of scope for things peeking around the edges of these pieces and things. So I'm just going to have a think, guys, about what I really want to do with that, and I will come back and we'll see. Okay, you guys, so I went ahead and I cut a panel of fabric to go behind each of my panels, leaving them just slightly over the edge. And then I backed it as well with a panel of card, which was printed with one of our background pages from the kit. So that's what we have right now. Same on the other side. There's a little bit of something going on there. I have no idea what that is. It looks kind of cool. So I'm going to leave it. It's not sticky, so it's not glue. That is so strange. And I use an inkjet, or sorry, I use a laser printer, so it's not my ink running. It's nothing like that. Anyway, let's get on. Now, while these were wet with the glue, they were still damp with the glue, I put them under some heavy books, and my little doors are staying shut a lot easier now. See? Very cool. Okay, so the last thing we need to do really is to get them onto the page. Now, at this point, you can put pockets and things on here. I'm going to leave mine as a writing space, in this case. But you can put pockets and things in here. You can put a belly band. All sorts of things you could do in there. So, I know that on this side, we need to be careful with the positioning of our hinge piece, okay? So, I'm going to stick this one down first. So, all I'm going to do, the usual, I'm going to get some glue on the back of that. And I'm going to position it central on this page as much as I can. Get a tiny bit. I think that should be good. Yep, perfect. To the other side. Now I'm going to get my ruler so that I can make sure I position this in exactly the same place if possible. Get that into place as central as I can. I'm just using the ruler to guide where I'm putting it, and I'm going by the edge of the paper and my crease line here to make sure that I have it central. And I'm just going to lie that flat. Okay? Suppose. And there we have a center page for a journal with an advent calendar. And when you flip it up, you have your big 25 and your nativity. I love it. Okay. So I came up with these two little pieces of trim that I want to put on here as well. I don't think it will hamper the hinge too much to have that there. Just to give a little added something. So let's get some glue down there. Let's see. Yeah, that still flips nicely. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so that is that one done. Now I am going to show you another way to use our advent pieces. So this is what it would look like. Now you could always also put a little semicircle down here to slip this into when it closes down, just to keep it shut if you find that it's getting annoying when you open and close the journal. I think it should be fine, but that's an option, okay? So I'm going to show you another way to use our advent calendar. It's still going to be an advent calendar, but I'm just going to do something a little extra, a little different. Okay, and in fact I'm actually going to show you two other ways. Okay, so I have all of my numbers here. I have another set of panels, and I have some other bits and pieces here that I want to use for this one. Now, I have here a blank one, and I realised I was going to give this as a freebie, and I just don't need that. All you need to do is print this out twice for this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my numbers and I'm going to glue them directly onto this piece. So for you would print two of these and you would start gluing your numbers onto one of them, okay? Now for this one we're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're not doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like we did on the last one. So just be sure you get that right. Okay, so I'm going to get those glued down and I'll be back to you to let you know what we're doing. Okay, you guys, so I have gone ahead and I have cut my I stuck down my numbers and I have cut my little doors. Now all I did for these doors, I cut around 3 sides of them. Again, the choice is yours as to which way you want them to flip open and closed. And then I have cut a little notch with my circle cutter. Sorry, my circle punch. I've just taken a little notch out of each of the doors. So just like so. Okay, and I inked all around and everything. I did all that off camera so you guys wouldn't have to be putting up with the mundanity of it all. So that is that. Now these panels, actually I reprinted these and I printed the backing sheet onto the back so that you guys will be able to see what you will be able to get for your freebie for your backing. So it'll be a nice background when the doors open. It'll be very pretty. Okay, so the next thing we need to do, we need to get these glued down. Now obviously you need to get them glued down without gluing your doors shut, so you need to be quite careful. I am going to just run some glue all the ways across the top, the sides and the bottom. And it's very easy on the pieces going across. You can see exactly where your doors are, so you can bring your glue down as far as you need to. And the bottom one is the same. But down the sides, you need to make sure that you're not coming past your cut marks with your glue. And keep it slightly out, away from those cut marks, so that any glue seepage won't do too much closing on your doors. But we'll make sure that our doors don't get closed anyway. Okay, so I'm going to do the other side as well. Like that, and I'll show you how I handle the middle. So for the parts going down, we can see the edge of each door obviously, but then we need to be aware that where our hinge is. So I'm just literally just putting some in the middle. I don't want to, I'm just avoiding going past those little cut lines. Just enough to make sure that it's stuck down, and make sure that our doors aren't getting glued shut. Okay, and again on the cross pieces on this, it's very easy because you can see the cut lines for the doors on either side of it, so you have more control, I guess, over that one. All the ways across. I'm not putting on a whole lot of glue. I don't want a whole lot of seepage here. You could do this with double-sided tape as well. That would work really well, I'm sure. In fact, I should have actually thought of that and done it that way. But not to worry. We'll get it done this way too. Okay, so I'm going to take my panel. Now I have the other one stuck down already. I'm going to take my panel. I'm going to turn it over and get this stuck down into place. So all I'm doing is lining it up with the corner to corner with the one that's still on the page. Okay, so I'm going to give it a little press, but then I'm going to go in and I'm going to open all my doors to make sure that they're not sticking down. Okay, now I haven't creased my doors yet, and that's fine. All we need to do is just make sure they're lifted away from the page, like I have done with this one. They're all just lifted slightly off the page so that they're not sticking to any glue that might have seeped under. Make sure your corners are stuck really well. And I'm going to put that aside to dry. Okay, so what I actually want to make with this is a trifold. Now it is going to be a large trifold. It will still be able to fit into a journal, but because it's a large one, I'm using 2 sheets of card. Now if you have a piece of card that is long enough to hold your advent pieces, to hold these and do a trifold, by all means use one piece and fold it, but I want to do it with the 2 pieces just in case there are people out there who don't have a piece long enough. Okay, so I've printed off a couple of pieces from the kit. This one is going to be a freebie, so that is that. And then this one is the backing for the number sheet that I gave you, so I've printed that out again, and I've printed one of Rachel's absolutely stunning vellum pages on the other side. Okay, so I want this as my inside panel, my back panel. So I'm going to cut this very slightly wider than my advent panel, okay? So I'm not making it the exact same size as these, I'm making it very slightly bigger. I'm bringing it out, I would say, about 1/8 of an inch, just to give myself enough room for those hinges, okay? Okay, so I have my back panel, and that is just very slightly wider than my piece, okay, just very, very slightly. Can you see how much there? Okay, and it's the same height. Alright, so we need our side panels, and I'm using this for the side panels. This is going to be on the inside of our piece, so it's going to essentially look like this. So these pieces will be hinged on here, and they have a nice backing so that when they're folded over the front and our pieces are on here, anything that's showing through matches up nicely. Okay, so for these pieces, I'm trying to decide which pieces I actually want, and they need to be the same height. I want them to be the same size as these, plus a little bit for a hinge. So I'm going to measure here. I'm going to give them a little bit extra, I would say about an extra ½ inch to one side, and I need to decide now which side. So I want to keep these images, so I'm going to make the hinge on this one to this side. So I will measure it from this corner here, add a ½ inch here, and that is where I will be cutting. Okay, so we have all of our panels ready, and wait, it's going this way and this way. Okay, so we're going to have a hinge here and a hinge here, and yeah, it's going to be lovely. Okay, so before I even do any of that, I want to get my other pieces, these pieces, I want them sitting nicely on here. So I'm going to get those cut out and glued onto these pieces, okay, both of these. Okay, so when I'm gluing these down, I want to make sure that I have them right to the edge here, okay? Now, I realise as well, and I know you guys were shouting at the camera, I do realise that I put these on backwards. I put the 1, 2, 3 over on the wrong side. Okay, but I will just reprint my page, I will take these off and I will glue them the other way around. I'm so silly. So I'm going to try to make sure I don't do that this time. I need one to be on the front, and really doesn't make a difference. I could do it either way actually, so you know. So we're going to glue the whole back of this down to this. Okay, so we have our panels ready to go. They look fabulous, and our little doors aren't sticking. Now before I go any further, I am going to get those doors folded back, and going to do the usual trick, take my little ruler and get them folded like so, and just burnish in the creases. And because I have put those little notches in these little doors, they'll be easier to grab to open. And I'll do that all the way through. Okay, so we have all of our little doors working now, and they look fabulous. Amazing. I love it. I love it. Okay, so the next thing we need to do, we need to get our score line done for our hinge. Before I even do that, I'm going to just clip the corners of these just to kind of keep things neat when we put it all together. And it doesn't even matter if they're even because they won't be seen. So I'm just going to snip and snip on both panels. Like that. Then I'm going to grab my scoreboard. And a scoring tool, because I don't like to use the one that came up my board. And I'm going to line it up with one of those lines, and I'm going to just score down there. Okay, so we'll be able to fold that back. I'm going to burnish that. Just like that. I'm going to do the same on the other one. And we have our hinges ready to go. Next thing, we'll grab our back panel, and we are going to hinge those on there, like that. That one on there. This one will sit inside like that. And I will open like a little trifold card almost. And it could actually be used as a Christmas card, I guess, couldn't it? Like that. Okay, so let's get those glued down. Okay, so this is what we have at the moment. Ta-da! And I love that that big Santa image is in the back as well. Just love it. Okay, so I'm not backing the back of this at the moment. I haven't decided just what exactly I want to do with it in my journal. It may end up being glued down onto a page and just open like this, or it may end up being used as a pocket underneath. I'm not sure yet. It could be left as a standalone piece in my journal. I don't know. If I need to back it when the time comes, I will just back it with some decorative paper. So now what do we want to do in here? Okay, so I have taken some of the pieces of the kit and I think I'm going to use one of these pockets down here, and I will possibly use some of this as another pocket behind that, and again the same, use a piece of this on a pocket over here, over at this side, and I want to use one of Rachel's lovely pockets as well. So I'm going to go and get my pockets cut out and we'll make some decisions. I will possibly get my pockets cut out of this part as well, and I will come back and show you guys what I'm doing. Okay, so I have cut out some pockets and things like that. I have made some decisions about decorating. So on this side we're going to have a little slip pocket. It is going to be overlaid with lace, and I may do something else with that. I'm not 100% sure just yet. I have something in my head. This one is one of the corner pockets. I decided to put the corner pocket here because I felt it needed something on there and I didn't want to cover too much of the image. And I have a little piece of very delicate gold trim to go down the edge of this pocket here like this. It's going to be cute. And on this side we're going to do a double pocket. I have one slanted pocket, large slanted pocket behind Rachel's lovely pocket from one of her pages. And I'm going to use my A to decorate that part. Now, look at the state of my hands, guys. From the glue, my goodness, I need to go and wash my hands as well. But I'm going to get these stuck down and I will come back and show you where I'm at. Okay, so I have motored on ahead. As you can see, I have a beautiful ribbon keeping our advent closed, our trifold closed. It is just glued along the back, brought up over the top and bottom, and it is magnetized. Okay, so I have two magnets in here. I have one magnet up here because I didn't wait long enough and it came off, but I will get that put back on. And our little doors are all opening here. I think this is so cute. I do love advent calendars anyway. We never actually had them as kids. It was only when I was older really that I kind of started to really love them. And on the inside we have all our little pockets with all of our bits of ephemera in here, and it looks adorable. So I have put a tag in here. I have used our number 25, and this is coated with glossy accents, so it is nice and fancy. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see the shine on there. So it's nice fancy. We have two layers of lace here, and I have stitched that on. I have stitched around our back panel as well. Nice fancy little zigzag stitch. Put our little corner pocket down here with some ephemera in here. I knew there was a second piece of ephemera. I thought I was actually losing it. There you go. So I have a couple of little bits of ephemera and one of our envelopes from the kit. And I've used our A back here as well to close our envelope. And I've left that open for a journaling spot. So that pops in there. I have a little bit of lace with a square from one of the washi tapes from the kit, just as a little faux stamp. So that pops in there as well. I have one of Rachel's lovely Bell bingo cards in there. Pretty, pretty. I've stuck down my A up here as well. And we have one of our snow globes and a piece of ephemera. Okay, so that is that one, guys. I love how this turned out. I think this will be fantastic interactive piece in a journal. So I'm looking forward to getting that put into a journal. Awesome. And let me show you what else I have done. So this is a third way that you can use these in your journals. So I have my panels, my doors. I have decorated the little doors with tiny little gems as well, just for a little added sparkle. I really need to find my glitters. I don't have a whole lot of glitter because plastic and all that stuff, but I do have a little bit, and I just don't know where I've put it. So I need to dig that out, and I think some stickles or something like that on the panel itself really bring a shimmer to it, would be beautiful. So same on the back, we have our little doors decorated, and I've put a hinge piece up here, and I've left it sticking out like a little file folder tab almost. I just thought that was cute. I had initially intended to put it all the ways down, but when I was doing it I thought, just something a little different, and I did a flip. Now I think this would make a great over the page piece. If you didn't want to do the insides, now I have done another number 25 in here. I've used our Santa image and our kiddos image, and I put the kiddos image this way for a reason. I'll show you in one second. So yeah, I think this would make a great over the page piece in a journal. You could also, like I said, if you didn't want to put your panels inside, you could also actually make this into an altered paper clip. That would be really cool as well. It would be quite a large paper clip, but really, really cool. But the other thing is, this could actually be a desk advent. So you would just sit it up like this, and on the day 25 you would flip it over. You'd have your Santa on one side, your kiddos on the other side, and that's why I put the kiddos that way, so they would be the right way up when it was flipped like that. So I think that is really, really cute. You could obviously put pockets in here as well. I thought about putting maybe a notebook in here, but I didn't want to cover my image on my 25. Lots and lots of ideas for this one as well. But yeah, I think that is really cute. So there are 3 ways to use your advent calendars in your junk journals. And I love them. I think they are fabulous. Okay, so that is it for my makes for today, guys. I really, really hope you enjoyed those. And that you've gotten some inspiration and ideas for using your own advent calendars. And that is the start of our A to Z Christmas challenge. Hooray! I am so excited for the rest of the month, really, and I'm actually kind of delighted that I got to do A this time, because I get to just enjoy the rest of the makes and the videos. Now obviously I will, as co-host, I will have other things to be doing, and I will be posting collaboration related videos throughout the month, but this is the big one that you need to kind of get it done on time and things like that. So yeah, I'm happy that this is done and out to you guys, and that I have kicked off the collaboration. I hope you are going to have so much fun, guys. I really, really do. Do not forget to put a like on the video and leave me a comment below the video. That helps to get the collaboration out to more people. It helps our newer crafters get seen a bit more as well, and it just adds to the fun. The more people are involved, the more fun it will be for everybody. So linked down below the video you will find a Linktree link to all of the channels that are taking part in the collaboration. You will also find links in there to both mine and Rachel's Etsy shop, so that would be Journals in Time and Rachel Bell Crafts. You will also find links to our Ko-fi pages for freebies, and don't forget you're getting 2 freebies from today, so they will be up today for you guys as well. And it is going to be a Christmas bonanza. Okay guys, that is it for me for today. Please do follow along with all the other videos. I'm so looking forward to seeing you all getting crafty and getting interactive and seeing what you make. And don't forget to use the hashtag A to Z Christmas Challenge if you do make anything, and post it on social medias. We would love, love, love to see what you guys come up with. Okay guys, talk to you all very, very soon. Bye bye.